Okay, we're back. Here we go.
Yo.
Everybody
Alright.
here with Bad Rabbits.
Yo,
Introduce yourselves, gentlemen. Let the world know.
What up? I'm Salim.
what up, Fredula?
I'm Shield.
It's a pleasure to talk to you guys. As you know, I've been a very big fan of your band for a long time. I think Warped Tour, what was that, 2014, 15 maybe? When did you guys do Warped Tour?
11 and 14.
11 and 14, yeah.
I think 14 is when I caught you, and stuck out like a sore thumb in like the best possible way. If you don't know who Bad Rabbits is, they blend what I guess I would call funk music and R&B into like kind of modern heavy music, and they're just an awesome band and pretty outspoken gentlemen. So I'm glad we could have you guys all on here. We might have dropped Ferdua, but there he is. Okay.
No, my bad.
All good. So what's going on in your world now? Talk to me, because I know you all have tons to say, so I'm just going to kind of keep it quiet here and listen to you.
I mean, I don't know who wants to start through. His square went black in
It's
solidarity.
going black. I'm trying to hook up my headphones because I don't want to deal with that not working for some reason.
No, I guess I don't think it's exclusive to us. Like the first week, I mean, I guess speaking for myself and just being, obviously a Black person in America, this particular narrative of what is actually happening has consistently been happening. And I think the climate right now, as I'm kind of straddling this level of like positive optimism or pessimistic optimism, for the lack of a better term, where it's like, okay, cool, people are quote unquote woke, but we've already gone through the, there's several layers of people being woke, and the perform. Now it has a term like being a performative ally. Before it was just trendy and it was cool to be woke. It was cool to be the person at a party that clearly just went down a BuzzFeed joint of like Black Lives Matter and all these particular things. But when those conversations are over, like those things still apply to like your homies that you see on a day-to-day basis that you break bread with, you were in band with, or whatever, Like, and we're never in this scenario. I guess for the first time, we're kind of in the scenario where it's like being the angry Black guy in every single scenario where it's like, oh, you're just making it up or you're just over exaggerating. And I think everybody's now seeing these microaggressions, but also these horrific tragedies that are just, it's like, all right, if you are just blatantly just not acknowledging that our experience between Black and white as like a person that's in your, like my social circle, my homies, if you can't even acknowledge that, I just can't fuck with you anymore, because at that point, that just means you've chosen to just be in your own feelings and just can't even empathize on just a basic human decency level. So for the first week or so, with most of the homies, I know this is probably true, like a lot of the homies that I know, the Black homies, or just people of color in general, just was inundated with people trying to figure out how they can help. And it's like I don't really know the answer to that question. I kind of formulated, I guess, for my particular narrative to people is like, the more experience you have with this particular type of scenario, it's like, take your homie's word for it now. You know what I'm saying? And like, like being labeled the angry Black guy when you got too political in a room, or when you saw like, hey, what you saw was police brutality, somebody given the benefit of the doubt. And I've seen Rodney King getting his ass beaten, these things that people who look like me consistently given the shorter end of the stick forever. And if I bring it up or offer like even quote devil's advocate or different point of view, or just the Black point of view, you're the angry Black guy. You're on some Black Panther shit. You're like this thing that nobody wants to hear. And now people are kind of dealing with this like particular level of, I don't even want to call it shame, but just like, damn, like I didn't realize it was that bad. It's like, yo, it's always been this bad. Like this has always been the narrative that I've seen. This is like what my parents have seen. This is what our parents have seen. That's what their parents have seen. It's kind of crazy. So I guess my particular narrative and like energy now at first was just educating homies like, all right, I know you're not a piece of shit. I know you're not a bad person. I know you're not a particularly a racist person, but also like people have their level of microaggression they didn't even realize, like saying stuff like Jimmy's, like, oh shit, like everybody come to that relation, like, damn, I didn't know Jimmy's was like, it could be perceived as a racist thing. It's like, yeah, well now you do. So just be fucking better, man. Like that's it.
Sure.
Like,
yeah.
I mean, I agree with, I think a lot of the conversation that I've had with my white friends, it has been that complacency now and silence is non-support now, where it's like there's no more like, oh, ignore that guy, he's the angry black guy, he's saying wild stuff, but that's his like, it's not even like now it's like that. No, we're not doing that anymore. Like it has to require action now, and you have to support people now. And it's a shame, like you said, negative optimism before. It's a shame that like it takes these horrible events for people to go, oh fuck, like, yeah, they've been saying this for a while, like we're not paying attention, or we're pretending to pay attention, and now it's like it's in your face again. And I think I'm seeing people wake up to it, which feels good. I mean, it got me off my ass, that's for sure. And I feel like, I can like just speak on a lot of the people that I know who are more active than they've ever been to say like, okay, well, at least it's starting to happen. You know what I mean?
And I think people can generally like identify with like, take apart the context of this conversation, like somebody you respect, when you look them in the face and say, yeah, I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna do better. And then like, if you can personally hold yourself accountable for just anything, like, yo, I'll get you back on this $25 or whatever I owe you. And then you just start ducking the person, that like you have to internalize like you're maybe not a good person. I'm just holding like my homies to a standard where it's like, yo, these types of things now in this context, if you hear people making black jokes, if you hear people doing this, if you hear people saying this, these types of microaggressions, like now like how black people perceive this type of behavior when I'm not in the room, that's the same to me as them saying nigger, or you know what I'm saying, or any other microaggression that would be generally perceived as like, oh man, that guy's kind of out of line in like the racist context. These small microaggressions, like that's what I want people to realize. Like, yo, start checking your homies, because if you want to be able to look me in the face and be like, damn, like I did him dirty. Like I don't want, like if you can, I just don't want to be around people who can genuinely look you in the face and like know that people out here doing reckless stuff, saying reckless behavior, knowing how a considerable amount of their black friends feel about these particular issues. Is kind of like, that's where you can do better. You know what I'm saying? Like taking like yeah, go ahead, do it.
It's just simple. Like if you think it's wrong, then it's wrong. Like it's just that simple. I mean, for example, I have a lot of friends in the metal community, and a lot of white friends as well. And they, growing up, would say, oh, you're whiter than me. That hurt beyond belief for me, because I am a very mindful African. Like I mean, I was born here, but my family's African, West African, and I know my culture, and I never once denied it or stepped behind it. So for someone to say, oh, you're white, when I'm clearly not, that hurts. So things like that need to stop. Like we need to stop doing that, and not we, but y'all need to stop doing that, because if you continue doing that stuff, you're only going to create a narrative where you're just pushing diversity out, and it's almost like I don't know, it's almost like it's been like that for a long time, and it sucks that it's taken a shitload of deaths of our people for people like you to realize, oh damn, this is fucked up, we got to do better. You know what I'm saying? It really sucks when you think about it, and like it's hard for me as a black person to try to be cool and forgive or back people who have said things in the past that are trying to apologize to me now. It's really tough. And the one thing I can say to those people is just, in the future, I mean, I'm not going to be a friend anymore, but in the future, just realize that, the things you have said came off racist, and you got to do better. Like you're doing right now. Well, but like, I'm not saying like you've ever said anything to us, but there's a lot of people that have said really backwards ass things to all three of us. And we've just kind of let it slide because we were tired of trying to explain shit to you, tired of trying to like, let you know our feelings, because, it's just thrown to the back burner. And it's just, at this time right now, there's a whole lot of things have to change in order to, better the society, and, people just have to do better. I don't know. I'm talking in circles. I'm kind of a little bit frustrated, but
no, I mean, you're making good points, man. And I think it's shit that needs to be said right now. I can't imagine any dude in a band who hasn't taken a look into his past and went, "Yo, wow, okay, I might have fucked up here. I probably said this joke. I probably laughed at this." And I think it's like this is that moment now, and it sucks that it took all these atrocities and all this violence and this death and shit for people to like for it to stick for whatever reason today. It's stuck with a lot of people. So, I mean, everyone's getting on this page at least, you know, and I think all this microaggression shit and these stereotypes in the hardcore and metal community, I think they're going to get kicked the fuck out of it pretty soon. Cause I can't imagine a band making a racist joke right now or saying
They
something
still
else.
do though. There's
Yeah,
still
they-
people that say
they still
Tell you
do.
what, if anybody's doing that in 2020 now, after all that shit, they're not going to be welcome into this scene. I mean, I feel like that's pretty overstated by most of this community now. So at least I can see efforts being made now. And you know, not having the perspective of being a black man and not having a history of this violence in my past with my family, or having to be afraid of police, or having to struggle and be put down by a system like this, it admittedly never gave me that perspective because it's not in my face. And I'm sure I'm speaking for a lot of people. And now at least it's in your face where it's like, so here it is. You understand now that it's plain as day. It's in social media. It's like anyone you know is talking about it now. Now you decide the kind of person that you are. And, you know, all I could say is I can from a person who can't fully relate, I can only do what I feel is right, you know, and now there's no question what right and what wrong is. And it sucks that it took this long to get to that point with a lot of people, you know?
Yeah, I think the biggest is like where people, they just try to find somewhere to like just find a baseline of like to establish empathy. With the most part, it's like take apart the race thing. If you just like, we've all been like groups of homies like, oh, making your mother jokes, your mama ain't shit, whatever, and you get off the homies like, oh, my mother's dead. You internalize like immediately feel like a wild dickhead. You're like, oh damn, I didn't know any better. It's like, well, now you do. It's like now you're not going to make mother jokes, but at the end of the day, like on a base layer level, like that's kind of fucked up. You probably shouldn't be doing that in the first place. Shouldn't be talking about people's mothers. You know what I mean? But it's
You're
just
right.
like in the joking context of it all, like that internal guilt. It's like, okay, I made a mother's joke. Damn it. Like, and you immediately go into this like dialogue of like apologies and like, and kind of like trying to get the person's story. But at that point, the damage has already been done. And I think a lot of people get lost in their own like guilt of like, oh man, I said something fucked up. I need to like get back in this person's good graces. But fast forward 5 minutes or rewind 5 minutes, it's like, you weren't thinking about that. That person has the option and the choice to just say, I don't fuck with you anymore because you're out here just being reckless. You know what I'm saying? And it's like,
yeah,
okay. And what that person that said the mother joke that kind of offended the other person, it's like, all right, damn, I got to take this L and just be better in the future and accept that this person may not fuck with me anymore just because I was quote out of line. And I think that's the parameters that we're operating in. If you want to put it to a situation where I think most people can at a baseline empathize, like, oh damn, I've definitely been in that similar type of scenario before. And I think that's where a lot of people are, at least from like, I'm not trying to be on some like finger wagging shit because everybody's grown and they make their own, you know what I'm saying, choices and what they want to do and how they behave moving forward. But it's just like, once you know better, just fucking be better. And I think a lot of people are doing the, yeah, but well, if this, that, and trying to find specific circumstances that fit into the context of like what the narrative of like justifying. It's like, yo, you've never had to watch somebody that looks like you be murdered on camera by the authorities. At least that's not in like an action movie and shit like that for the most part, you know what I mean? Where the villain dies or whatever. Like these are real life circumstances for a lot of people. And that's like, if you can't even just at a base layer, just say, damn, that's fucked up. I probably should figure out how to be better or like how I'm contributing to this. It's like, I can't fuck with you right now. Or just really, and I'm at least choosing not to be around you. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Right. And if your first reaction is to say, oh, not all cops are bad, or you know, bring up talking points like black on black crime, or send up a link of like Candace Owens, like just, you know, trying to like just make or villainize the person that has been killed, like you're already not, you know, you don't give a fuck. And
yeah, I mean,
that's the problem. People
at a
are still
baseline, there's right and wrong, and finding a way to justify wrong right now is just like the worst case scenario I see everywhere with people where I'm like, yeah, that dude's out. I'm not talking to him anymore. And it's like having to be like, how do you even get to that when this is in your face? How do you even go, well, he was a criminal anyway? Like that doesn't justify shit,
And then that's the thing that bothers me. And like, you already know where I'm gonna go with this. There are people that literally just go on their platforms and just give a crap ton of misinformation to their fan base, and then strengthen that fan base with strengthen their ignorance. Strengthen that fan base's ignorance. I.e., Tommy Vext. He went on there and said some crazy stuff. Basically said that racism didn't exist, or it was I don't know, manufactured, or whatever kind of quoting he was using. But like, that type of stuff is toxic, because it's only telling those people that are watching this like, oh, well, then I can just go on with saying what I'm saying and doing what I'm doing, because this guy who's black is okay with everything that's going on, and he's giving his reasoning and masking it behind free thinking. And it's not free thinking. It's just, you're just scared of losing your fan base. It
opens that lane for that toxic shit to just thrive. Exactly. And people go, oh, see, he's a black guy and he said it's not a problem. Exactly. So they use that one tiny example to justify an opinion which is fully not based in reality.
And this has been happening. And I mean, it might be a newsflash to a lot of white folks that are watching this. It's been happening for hundreds of years. Like, everybody will say, oh, this person had it coming. It's been happening to us for hundreds of years. And people just want to vilify us. And we continue to be peaceful. We continue to be welcoming. We continue to protest peacefully. And then it's thrown back as we're rioters and thugs and things like that, when it's only a few bad apples. And it's not even a few bad apples. It's people that aren't even a part of the movement to begin with.
Sure.
That are doing these things.
It's a shame that it's the same scenario where it's like the one or two events that then categorize what the whole protest is about, what the whole movement is about. And, I will say that I do think people are waking up to that. They're starting to see past those talking points that polarize. And I mean, at least in the circles where everyone I've had conversations with, everyone's got their head past that now and is seeing through some of that shit. So in the light of all of it, at least people are waking up to it now. And, I hope it continues, and I hope it stays long term. I think that's part of my concern, and maybe something I would ask you guys. Short term, you've seen this happen. People get all fired up. It's fire and brimstone. They're going after people. Everyone's posting shit. There's plenty of resources and news. Charities get hit real hard. And then the next news flash happens. Something shifts in the world and everybody just forgets about this stuff and it goes away. What keeps people into supporting? Like, how are we going to get people on this for the long haul? Because this is not something that is going to switch overnight in America. I think tomorrow we're not going to wake up and go, yo, racism's dead. If you're racist, you go to jail now. Like, that's it. Like, it's not going to happen here. There's too many fucked systemic institutions in this country that aren't going to permit it to happen forever, for years. Court cases and new laws being passed and budgets. Like, this runs on a dinosaur time, man. So it's like, what is going to keep people?
Really though? Does it really run on dinosaur time? Because to answer your question, it's what's happening right now. If you're seeing these protests, 19 days, 20 days, if this goes on for 30 days, 40 days, 50 days, that's how we see progression. If people are going to stay on this and not treat it like a trend, if people are going to donate like they're doing now, but if people are going to actually think about who they're donating to, do the research, and educate themselves on the history of this country and what they've done to people of our color and our race. If they continue to do that, that's how you start fixing the problem. November's coming up, and there's a bunch of primary elections happening right now. So that's how you fix the problem. You start putting people that feel the same way that you do. Put them in office. If the people start acting correct and going to the polls and voting for the right person,
Yeah.
That's how you fix the problem. I'm not saying Joe Biden's going to fix the problem because he damn sure ain't.
Yeah.
He's as mayo packet as they come. But
yeah, that's the part that scares me is that I'm looking 4 years into the future and I'm going, I don't hear a voice right now, you know. But you know, the minds of people.
Have to have a voice. We don't have to have a voice as a president. Joe Biden might not even be the president. Donald Trump might not even be the president. They're both not the voices, but the voices are the city councilmen. The voices are the lawmakers in the Senate and House. Those people can start. We can start putting the right people in there. Progressive thinking people. The minute you start putting progressive thinking people in office, you'll see a change. Because the centrists and everybody else, they move at a dinosaur's pace. Yeah. They think that they because they walked in Selma, and they got their ass beat overhead or got their ass beat in Selma, that we shall overcome is going to happen. But it's not. They just are just content with where they're at now.
I can see that. Yeah, I mean, a lot of change happens on a local level, and I think this primary and this election season voting is going to be more important than ever. It's funny you mentioned councilman because my next guest is actually a New York City councilman, so I'm excited to chat with him also. Justin Brennan.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, stick around. Maybe I'll pop you in for a question. So
no, I don't. I'll put. You don't want that. You don't want that. He doesn't want that noise either.
He doesn't want to get ambushed right now. All right. Well, hey, look, we could do this all day. I love talking to you guys. I got to keep this thing rolling, but I got to thank you all for coming on here. And
but can I say one thing though?
Absolutely, go for it.
You're a wild racist if you don't work with us in the future.
Wow. Listen, I've tried to. This is fucking bullshit.
Yo, I'm going to put you on blast at every point I can. No, I'm kidding.
All right. It's cool.
I already know we have love for you.
Just call me when it's time to make the next record. I told you I'm down. I'm down.
We're working. We're working. Trust me.
I'm racist if I don't do Bad Rabbits. It's said. It's recorded. We're going to record this event. It's fucking there. All right.
It's timestamps.
It's timestamp.
You can't ignore it now.
Dude, I love you guys. I love your music.
Before we sign out, so just to kind of elaborate on what Dua and Salim were talking about, as a brown man, first generation brown man, so I have immigrant parents. My parents are from India, and so when they came to this country, I had no idea the type of racism that they faced until I had conversations. So I think what I'm trying to say is that having those conversations, even with the people that you're closest with, is very, very important. So I've had plenty of conversations with Salim and with Dua. Sorry. Hold on a second. I think it's about education. So I'm educating myself, even like within my family, but my voice is messed up. I'm not going to stop talking. Sorry, guys.
All right, well, man, dude.
Education is key here.
Education and communication.
People need to educate themselves. Well, you got a platform. Educate these devils, man.
I'm trying, man. That's why you're here. That's why you're here. You educate. I listen. You talk. I listen. Yo, Bad Rabbits. Thank you, guys. You're the best. I love you. I've been looking forward to working together in the future. And yeah, man, let's stay in touch. Talk to you guys soon, man.
For sure, man. Later, homie.
All right, quick giveaway. Bad Rabbits was kind enough to donate a test press of American Nightmare. This is an awesome record. If you haven't heard this band, you should probably go listen to them now. Try not to bob your head. You know what? Go on YouTube and look up the Warped Tour. What was the song? I'm trying to remember the song. Dirty. Watch Dirty from Warped Tour on YouTube and try not to dance. This band is awesome. All right, we're going right into it. This is an interview I was looking forward to. My man, Justin Brennan, coming up in 1 second.